Hello and welcome to Bella's Corner. I'm so happy to have you here. Obviously this video we're not at a corner, we usually are on my bed, but this video we're at my vanity because I still haven't bought a new tripod, and if you didn't see the last video, my tripod is broken and I didn't want to have a really crappy angle like we did last week because last week's angle was terrible, so hence the new setup. I basically just wanted to talk about antidepressants this week, but really just all medication for mental health disorders. I realized in a conversation with a friend recently that I speak with people a lot about like disorders and a lot of different of life struggles, and I have never had any conversation with anyone about medication, which is a really big part about some people's journeys. I know it's a really big part of mine, so it's something that I wanted to speak about so that if you haven't spoken to someone about medication before, I can be that person, and also I can share everything that I haven't shared with anyone before. So to start off, I have OCD, ADHD, anxiety and depression, and I'm currently on antidepressants which also help with the OCD, and I have tried ADHD medicine. We will get into that, but I'm not on it at the moment. Starting with the antidepressants, there are a lot of different types that you can take, and I guess they're all like for different severities. The one that I'm on has been really good for me. People have very different symptoms, and I know that like online a lot you see a lot of people saying like that they feel really numb on antidepressants, and I guess that's like the different medicines will have different side effects, and also different people will have different side effects. However, I do know that the medication that I'm on right now has greatly helped my life. It is like a lifesaver. I genuinely cannot get through a day without it. When I first started taking it, it made me feel really sick, but the side effects weren't that bad, but I know that like it can be really bad when you first start taking it because it's kind of like changing I don't know exactly what it does, but it like changes the chemicals or something in your body and your brain, something like, I'm not 100% sure, okay, but it's changing something in there. So obviously you're going to have side effects, and for me I just felt like sick, and it wasn't that bad. It didn't last very long. I haven't experienced feeling numb on medication, which I'm really grateful for because I feel numb when I'm not on the medication. And for like a lot of my life I felt very numb, very empty, and that feeling is the worst. It is the worst feeling ever. So I'm like very grateful that I don't have that side effect with the antidepressants that I'm taking. I'm really lucky that I don't have any side effects while actively taking it. So when I'm taking it every single day, I don't have any side effects. I only have side effects when I stop taking it. I'll have like the withdrawal symptoms, and then when I start taking it again, I'll have that like sick feeling. But very, very thankful that I don't have those side effects while taking it, because I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people have very bad experiences with antidepressants. But it kind of gets to the point where you kind of have to choose, like, do I want to feel this way for the rest of my life, or would I rather deal with these side effects and not have to feel that way? However, along with the antidepressants, I also take ADHD meds. Actually I'm not taking them right now, but I don't know exactly what they do, but they can make you feel really tired, and they would make me feel exhausted. I could not get through the day without a nap minimum. Like I could have 1 nap, 2 naps, 3 naps. Like I would be sleeping so much, and being a university student, especially doing it online where I'm, at home, it was really difficult because I couldn't like get through the day without taking a nap, and so I would have to stop my studies, and I couldn't focus, which ADHD meds, they're supposed to help you focus, but I couldn't focus because I was so tired, and it was really not great, and so I chose to stop taking it. I haven't seen my psychiatrist in ages, and I need to like low-key tell him like, hey, I'm low-key not on these meds anymore because I can't get through the day without a nap. I'm not currently at uni, I'm on break, so it probably wouldn't affect much now if I took them, like having a nap through the day, freaking why not? But while I'm studying, it was really difficult, and like, it kind of would help my focus. Like, by saying that it wouldn't, like, it would help my focus, but my energy was lower. So, like, you know what I'm saying? It was easier to focus on the meds, but then it would make it hard to focus because then I would be really exhausted and just needed sleep. ADHD meds were not my best friend. I think, like, I haven't taken my meds in probably a month since I had my dental surgery, because I was taking medication after the surgery, and the medication I would take was at a different time that I would take my antidepressants. And so I would just forget, because it's like, oh, I've already taken my meds, I'm fine. And then I would just completely forget that I had antidepressants to take. So I wasn't taking it then. And then I got my braces on, and life kind of like changed a lot because I couldn't really eat, and I meant to take the medicine with food. I haven't been on them in a while, so this is like the perfect time to talk about life off medication and the concept of like, I don't want to live the rest of my life on meds. I'm really mourning the fact that I can't function like daily without medication, and it's something really difficult that I still struggle with. The concept of like, if I don't take medication, I can't function as a normal human. I can't do daily tasks. I can't like live. Off medication, I'm just depressed all the time. I don't do anything. I'm in bed. I don't speak to anyone. I feel hopeless, helpless. Like, this is how I felt for the past month. I have felt so crap. It has been such a bad month. I've just been so depressed, and like, it's really sad to me that I will not be able to function without medication. It's almost like, why can't I just be normal and be able to function normally without having to take medication every single day? It's something I haven't really overcome. Like, it's something I'm still working through, and it is difficult because I know that so many people deal with mental disorders that like ruin their daily life and that make life so hard, and so many people have to be put on medication, and that it's like, it is normal. But I guess it's just like mourning the idea of like a life that I could have lived if I wasn't diagnosed, if I didn't have like a literal chemical imbalance in my brain. If you follow my Instagram, you would have seen the reel that I posted, and it was like, oh, I don't want to live on medication for the rest of my life, but I want to live the rest of my life. And that's kind of the position that you end up being in. It's like, well, if I don't take my medication, I don't get to live. I get to just survive. And I don't want to survive for the rest of my life. I want to live. You kind of have to give up the idea of the life that you wish you could live without medication. As much as you want it to be different, it's not going to be. You're living the life that you're living. You have whatever diagnosis you have, and the medication that you take, it helps you live. It helps you live and not just survive. And it is so amazing that we have like resources and like the ability to be able to have things like that let us live. And so generally, you just kind of need to try and look at it in a positive way and try not to think about the negatives too much. And you can definitely still mourn the person that you wish you could be or could have been, and a life not on medication, and you know, all those different things. But at the end of the day, you can acknowledge that feeling and also be able to see the positive in it. I know that sometimes I think like, what if I just stop taking my medication and I just go back to the way things used to be? Because you kind of feel like that comfort in the sadness, or that comfort in like the chaos of your mind. And yeah, sometimes like genuinely I consider it. I'm like, I don't want to live on medication. Like, what if I just like go back to the depressive states and just live in that? But now, being in it, it's just the worst feeling, and it's almost like you need to experience life off medication again to really understand and appreciate life on medication, because if the meds are doing what they should be doing and they are helping you, life off medication is like nothing compared to life on medication. As much as you like can consider living off medication because you're so sick of having to like use something to be or to feel normal, you'll end up being in the state that you used to be in, like I am right now, and you will realize how crappy it is, how much it actually sucks. You know, even just like a word for people who haven't found the medication that's right for them, you will get there. I know that like my sister, for example, has been trying so many different medications for so many different things, and they're all doing the opposite of what they should be doing, and it's just like the worst for her. And sometimes you really just have to go through the struggle to be able to walk out of the tunnel. You know how they say like see the light outside the tunnel? I'm talking about being able to step out of the tunnel. Like you're not in that darkness anymore. You are in the light. It's going to take a lot of walking towards the light to be able to get there. And it's going to be so exhausting and you're going to want to give up. But I promise every step you take is closer to the light. Every single step. Even if it is the most minuscule step humanly possible. If it's a small step, if it's a big step, if it's a leap, if you start jogging, like no matter what kind of steps you're taking, you're still going towards the light. Even if it feels like you're walking backwards, I promise you, you're actually walking forwards. Because sometimes we need to do things that feel like going backwards in order to go forward. I have taken a lot of steps over the year, and sometimes I wasn't even taking steps. I was just standing in place and I was like, I give up. Like white flag, I'm surrendering. But at the end of the day, all the steps that I have taken over the year have led me to here, to being able to share my experiences and to be able to live and see the beauty and the life in the world. And it has taken a lot, and I still do struggle a lot with a lot of things. But me now compared to me last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, is so much different and so much better. And sometimes you can't even notice how much you've changed and how much you've grown and how much you've recovered if you don't look backwards. The world I'm living in right now, the mindset and everything being unmedicated feels terrible. It feels the worst. But if I look back to like 13-year-old me, it makes me feel so proud, and it makes me feel like I've accomplished so much because I have. And sometimes it's really difficult to be able to feel that appreciation and feel that proudness of yourself, because you're not looking back and seeing how far you've come. And sometimes it's even really small things. Like last week I couldn't even get the energy to set up a camera and film for you guys, and today here I am. I didn't have any energy to get out of bed, but I got out of bed and I got ready and I'm filming right now. And it's like, even that small difference is so big and so powerful. And sometimes it's not going to be something big and noticeable, but you need to celebrate all of your wins. You need to celebrate every single step that you take towards the light, because it all ends up like growing into one thing. It's all like little things that pile up. Like today I'm filming my video, and then maybe tomorrow I'm gonna go out, and then on Monday I'm gonna start taking my meds again, and then and then they all just keep building. And then eventually it's like this massive bit of growth, and you have this massive like tower of things that you've done that have helped you grow. So it's like every single small thing builds up to the massive tower at the end. So you need to be proud and celebrate all the small things, because they all end up building up. Something that I look back on a lot is that like this time last year I was in high school, and now I'm not, and now I'm out, And I've been trying to get out of high school since I was like 13 and I first started going to high school. Like, high school was my worst enemy. It was like a nightmare every single day. And it's like now I'm actually out and it's almost been 10 months and I'm living this whole life outside of high school. And it's like this whole massive beautiful thing that, yeah, sometimes life gets stressful and sometimes I'm stressed about uni and I feel like everything's tumbling down, but I have made this big jump from being in high school and having this routine all the time and living my absolute worst nightmare every single day of my life to now being out and having my own life, and I'm so much happier and everything has like just kind of fallen into place. All praise to God. But it's all kind of just fallen into place, and even though sometimes it gets really stressful and I get really scared that I'm gonna like fail and that it's not gonna work out and that it's all gonna be for nothing, I have made such a big jump from hating life to now being able to live a life that I actually want to live and not being like forced to live a life that I hate. Because it's like high school is like, it's the worst. You're forced to be there every day. You don't want to be doing all these subjects, you know. You don't want to be around these people that are toxic and your friends that are actually talking bad about you behind your back and all this. So it is so good to be out and study something I actually want to study and surround myself with people I actually want to be around and live a life that I actually want to be living. And in the moment when I was in the process of trying to leave school, all this stuff was happening and it was so stressful and I was like, oh my days, like they're not gonna let me leave, and it was like this whole thing. If I had just like reflected and been in that moment, being like, okay, I am finally doing this, like this is such a good thing and this is something I should be so proud of myself for finally doing. It's like you need to be able to try and do that in the moment, and it's difficult, and like I'm able to do that now and it's been like almost 10 months, and sometimes it does take a while for you to be able to reflect back and be like, wow, I'm so proud of that version of me that did this thing. But I feel like a real big part of growth is eventually being able to do that when you're in the moment. I know that when I was younger, I struggled a lot because I was like, therapy isn't enough. Therapy isn't getting me anywhere. I need something bigger. I need something greater to help me, because just talking about how I feel is not doing anything. And now having the privilege to take medication and actually have all these different things prescribed to help me is like so amazing. I used to dream about a day where I had something greater to help me, and I used to dream about a life where I didn't have to struggle just to live. And so looking back, it's just being medicated can feel so heavy and exhausting, and you know, there's so many emotions that come with it. But it really helps me to think about that version of myself that really needed that, and now I have it. Honestly, I would just say to try and think positive. If you're currently in the process, it's going to be long and it's going to be difficult, but trust me, you've got this. Trust me, there is good that is going to come out of all this exhaustion. And if you don't have anyone to talk to about medicine and you're like freshly on it and you're so confused and you're like, is this normal, is that normal, and like you're feeling all the different emotions at once, I'm here. I promise. You can literally go to my Instagram, message me. If we're like friends and you're watching this, girl, text my number, like I got you. And just make sure to celebrate your small wins and really try to see that every single small step that you're taking is leading you to the end of the tunnel and bringing you to the light.